It's Coffee Near Me. I'm Barbara Deeb. Two people, 2 cups of coffee, and a real conversation. We're here outside the Downing Museum on the outskirts of Bowling Green, surrounded by the Baker Arboretum, 115 acres of just lush. We'll talk about that. We're joined by Jack LeSieur, who is the director of the Downing Museum. Jack, thanks for letting us come and invade your space.
Oh, we're happy to have you here, Barb.
It
always.
is so, I mean, what's it like coming to work here each day? Gosh, it's
Well, I
gorgeous.
have to say, I do take it for granted a little sometimes. You know, I have to kind of put blinders on when I'm here because it is so beautiful.
Oh, no
I wouldn't get
doubt.
anything done if I hang
But
out.
for people who don't know, this is a dream realized for philanthropist Jerry Baker, who had a friend named Joe Downing, internationally renowned artist. So give us a little bit of the backstory on how it came to be.
So Mr. Baker knew that he wanted to create an arboretum here, and in about '95 he started purchasing land adjacent to his house, and he wanted something really neat and special at the top of the hill in his arboretum. So he built what we call the Octagon Room, or the Doors of Life pavilion, and it's the original part of the museum. And he added on the rest of the museum to that in later years. But that room was built to house the Doors of Life, which is our largest piece of art.
Done by
and
Joe Downing.
Done by Joe Downing, yes.
And they are huge.
They are huge.
Yes.
They're very massive, very heavy.
Yeah.
So very not very fun to move, I guess.
No, that's why they're staying where they are. And then surrounded by 115 acres. Now, Jerry had a good friend, some of you may know Mitchell Lush-Art, the late Mitchell Lush-Art, whose specialty was conifers. So there are a lot of really different conifers, which is a type of plant for people who don't know what that is.
Exactly. So someone who's not a plant person, you know, a conifer is a pine tree. That's
There you
what I
go.
call her. A cedar tree or something that produces a cone. That's how I remember it. But yeah, we have a really extensive collection of conifers and Japanese maples, actually. And you mentioned Mitchell Lush-Art. Those were two of his favorite types of plant to work with. And same with Mr. Baker, too. He really had a passion for horticulture, and I think he saw it as an art form.
Oh, indeed it is. And so if we step inside the Downing Museum and we see a large collection, the largest collection of Joe Downing's work in the U.S., but we also, you're expanding the offerings, aren't you?
Yes, so we exhibit different artists throughout the year. Most are local. We have brought in a few regional artists to come in, but the goal of that is to try to keep the museum fresh. You know, Joe Downing's work is beautiful. We still love Joe Downing. We absolutely adore him, but it's almost an honor for some artists to be able to exhibit here alongside Joe Downing too.
And there's also, you know, not everybody likes a particular kind of art or understands it, so this gives the opportunity to kind of shake it up, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. We really kind of try to diversify our audience as much as possible.
So a visit to the Downing Museum, you would also learn about the life of Joe Downing?
Mm-hmm. Correct. So we have a permanent Joe Downing exhibit. You can learn about his early life, kind of how he learned about art in Chicago, and then learn about his journey to Europe, where he spent the rest of his life.
You know what's so cool? Joe Downing, he was going to be an optometrist. So he is really, color and light were really important to him, and you see that in his work. And what many people don't know is Picasso came to his first art exhibit in France. And he tells the story. You've heard that story.
Absolutely.
He's sitting there like in the back, cringing as he watches Picasso look at his
shadow
work.
kind of come in
Yes.
first.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But then Picasso kind of helped him out too.
Yeah, I think he gave him enough encouragement that was really, you know, kind of that driving force that kind of pushed Joe to work really hard, and he did. I mean, he was very prolific, you know, and he I think was kind of one of those success stories as an artist, you know, kind of living the dream.
And what people may not realize, the building behind us years ago caught fire. It was very traumatic because the art, you know, several pieces were damaged. They've been restored, right?
Well, we're still currently actually in the process of restoring a lot. We have a lady who is on staff that does a lot of that work for us in-house. So it's kind of neat to be able to see it, you know, continuously coming back to life, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty devastating fire.
Yeah, but now it's all back, everything's good. So as the director of the Joe Downing Museum, I mean, you're directing things, but what's the biggest challenge you have?
Oh, goodness. Well, like I said, probably coming to work and not wanting to just sit out here and enjoy the plants and the
Yes.
art. And
And getting people to appreciate art.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that we try to do and really take pride in is, you know, this is a safe place where you can come and experience art. So if it's, you know, maybe something that you're not going to see in a normal, when I say normal, you know, even a normal art museum, we try to do things that will please and engage everybody that comes to the museum.
Okay, so you're telling people come and experience.
Absolutely.
All right. Jack LeSieur, we're going to find out more about Jack himself in our next segment. But you know what? You can continue the conversation. Is there somebody you want to sit down and have a cup of coffee with? If there is, we'd love to hear from you in the comments section. You're watching Coffee Near Me from the Downing Museum.